This is a compliance hearing following an order to participate involving the Stringer child. Ms. Gutierrez is with us for the department. Ms. Wiggins is with us representing the child. Mr. Nowak is with us representing the mother, Ms. Stringer, who's with us. Mr. Hill is with us representing the father, Mr. Stringer, who's with us. I have Cherie Hughes in the waiting room.
That is my worker on this one, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll get her in, and I did not receive a report on this, so I'm really not up to speed on where the compliance is. So,
Oh, okay. I think they filed it well, let me see. That may be from the earlier hearing. 8.
I will say I left a week ago last Saturday for a judicial conference that I was at last week. So if it hadn't come in before then, there's a good chance I did not get it.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. I'll have her go through everything then.
Okay.
And the department calls Cherie Hughes as its witness if she is in now.
She should be. I let her in. Yeah, there she is. Ms. Hughes, if you raise your right hand, please. You swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Ms. Gutierrez.
Thank you, Your Honor. Cherie, who do you work for?
The Texas Department of Family and Protective Services.
And what do you do for them?
I am a family-based safety services caseworker.
Okay, great. Did you file a court report for this hearing?
I did, yes.
Okay, do you have the date that that was filed?
Let me look. It's 1 second.
Okay, would October 29th sound about right?
Yes. I'm
Okay,
looking for that email. Someone else, I had to send it to someone else because the person that normally does that for us, she left the department, so I had to send it to somebody else. So that does sound right, that Wednesday. Yes, ma'am.
all right. Well, the judge has not had a chance to read it yet. I was on vacation last week, so I apologize. We're going to have you go through this in detail, okay?
Okay, all right.
All right. Can I get an update on Teresa Stringer and how she's doing on her services?
Okay, so for Mrs. Stringer, we did ask her to do a parenting class. As of the time that I filed the paper, they still only show that she's attended one session. And that is also, that was brought up at the last hearing that Mrs. Stringer stated that she was having to pay for those. I believe she stated $25. I did call Family Support Services when we got off that afternoon. They did show the one time. They did show that she only paid $10, but they were able to find where my paperwork that was sent to them previously was overlooked, where the department did pay for that. So they've had a credit or a refund for her waiting until she returns as far as the parenting class goes.
Okay.
She did complete her psychological evaluation with Stonebridge. I finally got that report back. They did recommend an extensive psychoeducation towards parenting. They also recommended some type of maybe some dog training classes per what she told them the reason that we were involved. I wasn't sure about that. And then they also stated that she might benefit from a life coach. I do have her enrolled in counseling. She is seeing a therapist. I did just receive the psychosocial on that. It was a recommendation to continue with counseling and parenting. Also, a benefit from an OSAR assessment and follow their recommendations. And then also maybe a 12-step program like AA or a Celebrate Recovery. She has completed 2 of those counseling sessions with the therapist. She did actually complete the OSAR assessment. I know when we were here last time, she stated that she had been saving up money to go to Synacor, and Judge Graham stated that no, we weren't going to go that route. We didn't want her paying out of pocket. So we did the OSAR assessment. She did that on October 22nd and was recommended to go to Padre. I spoke with Brianna, the one that's over Padre, as early as 11 o'clock this morning. I wanted to make sure I was current on that. There have been 2 times that they set up October 27th and then October 31st for her to complete the assessment and get enrolled. And she did not make it on the October the 31st, and they have not heard back from her, so they do need for her to call them since it has been 2 missed times. They won't be reaching out to her. As far as the rational behavior therapy class, she did complete that class. And then I'm trying to think what else off the top of my head. She is visiting Scotty at our office, for 1 hour a week. Last Wednesday, was the first time she missed. She stated she was out of town and couldn't make it. And so we had to basically not have that visit because she wasn't going to be there in time. So we just said we would follow through this week when she comes at her regular time. Um, I think that's about all.
Okay, so as far as what we are asking the judge to order out of all those recommendations, help me clarify that, okay?
Okay.
Uh,
So
so,
basically, I'm sorry, go ahead.
okay, so it looks like we need the Padre program to be ordered. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, a 12-step program.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, as far as that recommendation from the psychological evaluation for intensive, you said psychoeducation towards parenting, uh, do you have a service that we are asking the court to order for that?
I think that she would really benefit from the kind of the extensive parenting program that Family Support where we originally sent her for that parenting program, because that one is a little more extensive than just a regular 2 or 3 day one. So I think she would really benefit from that one.
Okay.
I also left out, I'm sorry, the drug screens, and she has drug screened for me. I did file those drug screen results as well.
Okay. Were there any concerns with those drug screens?
We're still seeing alcohol as on the 2 times that I've tested her specifically for alcohol, they both are resulting in positive for alcohol still.
Okay. Um, let's see here. Are we also asking the court to have mom reach out to Padre to set that program up for herself?
Yes, ma'am, per Brianna, that's I guess how it has to be since the 2 times have missed.
Alrighty. Um, how do those visits go with the child when Miss Stringer makes them?
As far as the visit between Mrs. Stringer and Scotty, they're going well. Um, he was recently diagnosed with autism and a speech impediment. So there's not a lot of actual verbal communication. She does play with him well. She sits in the floor, she talks to him, she reads to him. So that part is going well.
Okay. And in regards to, well, is there anything else on Teresa Stringer's services?
No, ma'am.
All right. In regards to Mr. Stringer, can you give us a detailed update on how he's doing?
Yes. He has completed all but one of his counseling sessions, and that would probably be finished this week. He did complete the RBT and his parenting classes, so that is all that we had asked him to do.
And the child is placed with him, is that correct?
That is correct.
How is Scotty doing in that placement with that?
He's doing well with Dad. He's very bonded to Dad. Mr. Stringer also enrolled him in public school. He just turned 3, so ECI could no longer work with him, but Dad enrolled him in public school where he's going to be getting helped with his speech and then other type of aid that he may need that they see would be appropriate.
And are Mr. Stringer's screens coming out clean?
Yes, we have not screened him for quite a while because they were all negative.
And are we asking for another compliance hearing prior to the dismissal date on this case?
We are, please.
All right. And do you believe that's necessary to reduce the risk for abuse and neglect to Scotty?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right, I pass the witness.
Thank you, Mr. Nowak.
Thank you, Judge. Cherie, it's always good to see you. Hey, can you shoot me an email with the Padre contact information so Teresa and I can make sure that we get that set up?
Yes, sir, I can. Absolutely.
Other than that, has Teresa been compliant with you?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Judge. I'll pass the witness.
All right, Mr. Hill.
No question, sir.
All right, Ms. Wiggins.
No questions, Judge.
All right. All right, Ms. Gutierrez, anything further from the department?
Cherie, is there anything else we need to share with the court?
Not at this time that I can think of.
Okay, thank you. No, Your Honor, we're just asking for Ms. Stringer to be ordered to successfully complete that Padre program, as well as a 12-step program, and for her to initiate contact with the Padre program.
All right, then, Mr. Nowak, did you have any witnesses?
I don't think so, Judge, but just out of caution, this is at Ms. Stringer's case. So Teresa, did I miss anything? We're going to get with Padre. We're going to get with the 12-step. Have I missed anything, Teresa? I can't hear you.
Yes. So I contacted Brianna with the Padre program twice, and I was informed that she would be quitting on December the 8th, and I would have to either go to Lubbock or another regional area. So when I talked to my therapist, he said that I should just go ahead and get in contact with the Lubbock area.
And that's on the Padre program.
I believe so.
Cherie, how can you help us here?
That is news to me. I mean, I just talked to Brianna this morning at 11, and she stated that she's just waiting on her to call. She did not tell me anything about needing to go somewhere else or contact anybody else, or that she was even leaving.
Perfect. Would you shoot me that contact information, though?
Yes, sir, I will.
And Teresa, is that all we need the judge to know for right now?
I believe so. As far as the parenting classes, again, we asked Miss Cherie for another option because I can't keep taking off Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from work.
Cherie?
That's the only extensive parenting program I know. I can do some research and see what else I can find, but that's the only extensive one that I know of. And that was what was recommended in the psychological evaluation.
Okay, well, let's work our best on that. And if you do have another option, Cherie, if you'd let me know, I sure would appreciate that.
I will do that, sir.
All right. I think that's it, Teresa, correct?
Okay,
Yes.
I'm having a really hard time hearing you, Mr. Nowak. I don't know if anybody else is.
Yes.
All right, you know what? I'm going to, that's all I have, Judge. I'll pass the witness.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Hill, any witnesses?
No, sir.
All right, Ms. Wiggins, witnesses.
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Wiggins, recommendations.
Thank you, Judge. I do recommend that the order to participate continues so we can provide services for the Stringer family. The child is doing really well with the father. No concerns at all with the child being placed there.
Okay, all right, thank you. Then I will order the parents continue working the services as previously ordered. I'll order Mother Ms. Stringer to complete the Padre program. However, I don't know if that's an in-person program, but if we've got a problem with Padre here, we can't have her going to Lubbock. So we're just going to have to work around that. I mean, I know in extensive parenting, I have seen cases where the therapist will say we can cover more in the way of parenting, and that would suffice to do that. If that's what it takes, that's what we could do. And I will order she participate in a 12-step program. So as far as compliance hearings, how far out would you like it, Ms. Gutierrez?
I think my dismissal date is the 19th. Let me go look.
I ordered the services on July 7th, if that helps you.
Okay, so January 12th is the dismissal date.
Okay.
It may be the 5th because I have a feeling that 12th is probably filled up already.
I had 12/1, 1/5, or 2/2, so January 5th works fine.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, then I will order another compliance hearing, just like today's hearing. That will be held on January 5th, 2026, just like today's hearing by Zoom. Parties can ask their lawyers or go on the court's online docket a day or two before January 5 to see exactly what time of day we'll have that hearing, so you don't have to sit around in the waiting room. So, okay, that will conclude this hearing. For those of you involved, I'll be back in about 10 minutes or so to call two related Randall County cases. Those are both permanency hearings on the Carver and Vallis children and the Dominguez child. So we'll be in recess. Everybody have a good week.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Here.
Sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Judge. Teresa, I'll be in touch.
Okay, I will call Randall County two related cases. First case being cause number 68851C. This is a permanency hearing involving the Dominguez child. I'll also call related case cause number 85097C. That is a permanency hearing involving the Vallis and Carver children. In both cases, well, Ms. Wildman's with us in both cases for the department. Mr. Nowak's with us representing the children in both cases. Ms. Grant's with us in both cases in representing the mother, Jessica Dominguez. She's not with us and not in my waiting room. Ms. Grant, were you expecting her? I can't hear you.
Judge, I'm having some connectivity issues. Did you ask me a question?
Yeah, Ms. Dominguez is not with us. Were you expecting her?
I have not heard from Ms. Dominguez, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. And then Mr. Barfield is with us representing the father in the case involving Rayleigh Dominguez, James Hathaway. I show he's out of incarceration, but he's not in the waiting room. Mr. Barfield, were you expecting him?
If he logs on, Judge, just put him in. I'm ready to proceed as normal. Just look for him, sir, please.
Okay, I'll watch for him. All right, in the case involving the Vallis and Carver children, excuse me. Again, Ms. Wildman for the department, Mr. Nowak representing those children. Mr. Michelson is with us representing the father, Anthony Vallis, father to Koa and James. I show he's incarcerated in TDCJ and he's not in my waiting room. Ms. Lucero is with us representing an unknown father, I guess involving Stephen Carver Jr. He is obviously the unknown father's not with us. And again, Ms. Grant represents Jessica Dominguez. I believe that's everyone except for the ones I've announced are not present. Ms. Dominguez, Mr. Vallis, and Mr. Hathaway. So this case was set for 12:15. It's now 12:25. We will proceed in those parties' absence. I have
Your Honor,
Yes.
my apologies. May I add one comment for the record that we did on October 6th hear from Ms. Dominguez that her phone has broken and she's having to borrow phones to communicate with us. And so I did want to update the court with that information.
All right. Mr. Koval's the only one in the waiting room. Is he your witness, Ms. Wildman?
He is, Judge. There is also Torrey Torres, who is the alleged father who we've served by substitute service. He does not have an attorney currently. Since the next hearing is a final, we will need to have him appointed one today.
Okay. Do I have that correct? Torrey, Torrie,
Torrey, Judge.
Okay. Torres, Torres.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'll make a note for Brittany to appoint him a lawyer today. All right. Let's see. Mr. Koval is. There he is. Mr. Koval, if you would please raise your right hand. You swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do, Judge.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Wildman.
Thank you, Judge. And Mr. Koval, are you the permanency specialist assigned to both the case involving the Carver Valles children as well as the case with Rayleigh Dominguez?
I am.
And have you been on both of those cases pretty much since the beginning?
Yes.
All right, and so let's get a brief update on the kids. Let's start with Rayleigh. How's she doing in school? How's she doing in placement?
Rayleigh's doing well. She's an excellent student in school again. She's in the 7th grade. Went out for volleyball this year, didn't make the school team, but she does love volleyball, so she's going to keep trying on that. She has a good social life. She's spending the night with friends and having friends over to spend the night, and she's doing well in placement with her great-grandmother, and things are just going well. She's healthy.
All right, and great-grandmother, if needed, is willing to be a long-term placement?
That's correct. And in fact, she just became licensed on the 24th of October. I'll be going over there today to finalize the paperwork to change from an unlicensed placement to a licensed placement.
Perfect. Now, Stephen Carver, he is in a fictive kinship placement with is it the brother of Stephen Carver Sr.?
That's correct, Johnny Carver.
And how's he doing there?
Steven's doing well, no negative behaviors, doing well in school. He's in a different elementary school than he was last year simply because the grades are divided up the way they do them in Pampa now. But he's doing well in school. I haven't received reports of any negative behaviors for Steven.
Okay, and so I think at certain points, maybe they were looking at doing evaluations, maybe for extra help at school. Did he end up needing any of those, or did they get those taken care of?
He had tutoring through the WHIP program last year that went really well and got him all caught up prior to the end of the year. And so far, he hasn't needed additional tutoring this year. He's kind of started off where he needs to be, and he's staying there.
And is that placement licensed and willing to be a long-term placement?
They are willing to be a long-term placement. They are in the process of getting licensed, but that process kind of hit a little hiccup. There was a traffic stop that kind of went sideways for not Johnny, but Linda. And so that needs to be resolved before Arrow can continue to work with them.
Is it any kind of concern for continued placement?
No.
All right. And so, and then the younger two boys, are they in a foster home?
They are. They continue in the same foster home that they've been in since the removal. And they're both doing very well. James did have about 3 days of uncharacteristic negative behaviors, but they put him in play therapy for 4 weeks and got that resolved. And he's back to being normal James and doing really well. Koa had his cardiologist appointment a couple of months ago, which was just out of an abundance of caution about the holding the breath till the passing out episodes that were happening a long time ago. There haven't been any more of those episodes since February. And the cardiologist found nothing on their tests. So he's got a clean bill of health.
Perfect. And so are any of the children on any kind of psychotropic medications?
No.
Are there any other updates that the court needs on any of the children?
I don't believe so.
All right. And the younger boys, is their placement willing to be long-term if necessary?
Yes.
All right. And so let's talk a little bit about the parents. Does Mr. Baez remain in custody to the best of your knowledge?
He is, and I did speak with him about a week ago, and he was transferred to another TDCJ unit. Apparently he got in some trouble at the old unit, so he's now in Iowa Park in the all-red unit.
And so I know your report had said there at the older unit, there were some things he may have been able to complete, and he was on a BIP waiting list. Is he having to start over, or are those even options at the new unit?
He was limited in what he could do at the old unit because he was in a faith-based dormitory that I guess did not provide certain things that the general units did. So he's not really needing to lose or restart anything. He does need to start with whatever he can do. So I have let him know that whatever options he has, he needs to take advantage of those and then provide certificates.
Now, as of today, has he completed any of the services or provided certificates for any kind of programs?
No.
Okay. And then Mr. Torres, have you had any contact with him or been able to locate him since we filed to serve him through substitute service?
I have not been able to have any contact with him.
And then as far as Mr. Hathaway is concerned, since he's been out of custody, has he been in contact?
We have had contact, especially at the beginning, not so much the past few months.
Okay. Now, did you get a chance to go over the service plan with him and start him to working on some things?
Yes, he knows what he needs to do, and really the only thing that's on his service plan is BIP classes, which are pretty important, given the nature of his time with his children and relationships. And we were transporting him to the first few BIP classes, but then he stopped going to those.
Okay. Now, as far as visitation, has he still kept up with, I think it was phone visits with Rayleigh, or did we stop those?
The judge
Or have
ordered
we
that-
restarted them? I'm sorry. Have we restarted them since the judge stopped those last hearing?
No, we have not restarted.
Okay. And has Rayleigh been discussing that with her therapist or working through whether or not she wants contact?
Yes, and at this point in time, she's not interested in talking to him.
Okay. And so as far as housing and things like that, do you have concerns about that?
As far as Mr. Hathaway goes,
Yes.
yes, Mr. Hathaway is he's living in a home of a friend. He's not on a lease or anything. It does continue to be the same residence that he's had since he got out of his last incarceration, but it's not a home of his own.
Has he made any progress on the unemployment or anything like that?
Not to my knowledge. He continues to be unemployed.
Okay. And as far as drug testing, has he been testing for the department?
Yes and no. He did test in July, which was the first time after his latest incarceration. He did test positive for alcohol and negative for drugs in July. And then at the beginning of September, around the 2nd of September, he again tested positive for alcohol and negative on a UA. And then the following week, I tried to send him again and he did not go. And I've tried to send him this month and he did not go.
Now, what led to you requesting such a quick retest?
So the weekend of Saturday, September 6th, I became aware that the mother in this case, Jessica Dominguez, was associating with Mr. Hathaway. And in fact, I observed her vehicle at the house where he resides and had some concerns about that because he has a history of substance use and he's on an ankle monitor on probation. And she was over there and really no reason for the two of them to be fraternizing. So I sent both of them to drug test. She did not test that day, but she did test the next week. And he did not test for me. He refused to test.
Okay, and so let me kind of shift gears, I guess, or follow up on that. So when you saw Miss Dominguez's vehicle at Mr. Hathaway's residence, had you spoken to her, I guess, before you had gone over there?
I did. I had told her earlier that morning, that Saturday morning, that I wanted her to go drug test. And she finally replied to me a couple of hours later that she was in Oklahoma fishing. And the thing is, the ankle monitor and the parole situation for Mr. Hathaway is that he can't leave the house on the weekends at all. So I believe that he was there and she was there with him.
And so what sort of disclosures did Miss Dominguez eventually make as far as substance use that weekend?
She did admit to relapsing. She said that she used methamphetamines, which is a different substance than she had been struggling with in the past. But she did self-admit to me that she used methamphetamines that weekend.
Now, has she subsequently UA and hair strand tested?
She has. Around the 21st of this month, she did a UA and a hair strand. The hair strand came back negative, which was surprising given that she had self-admitted to using meth in September. So it was about a month and a half after her self-admission to use. She did tell me that she has altered her hair. She's dyed her hair within the past couple of months.
Now, is it concerning at all to you that she's self-admitting testing negative but dyeing her hair?
Yes.
And why is that concerning?
Well, the altering of the hair can potentially produce a negative hair follicle result. And typically, I believe that the court normally orders that a parent not alter their hair if there is substance use involved in a case with a parent and they are subject to random drug testing. They should not alter their hair.
Now, had that been come up as an issue previously in this case?
Not with Jessica, I don't believe.
And now that it has become an issue, would you ask that the court make that order that none of the parents in this case alter their hair?
Yes, I would like for that to be an order of the court.
And now, at I think the last couple of hearings, had the court, I guess maybe 2 hearings ago, had the court ordered that visitation would be suspended until there was a negative UA and hair follicle test for Ms. Dominguez.
Yes.
And have you restarted visitation at this time?
We did not restart visitation after that October 21st test because there's concerns that she did self-admit to using a month prior. So obviously there hasn't been the typical 3 months of sobriety that you would look for in a negative hair follicle test. And I believe that would be the underlying reason why the court suspended those visits would be, to see 3 months of sobriety rather than just 1 before restarting them.
Are you asking that the court today permit the department to continue to suspend those visits?
Yes.
Now, do you have other concerns based on what you've physically seen of Ms. Dominguez in the last couple of weeks?
The last time that I visited her, which was the last week of October, I did observe facial injuries. She had some marks or scabs beside her eye and around her mouth. I did ask her about those injuries, and she said that she slipped and fell without elaboration on that. There is a history of domestic violence, and so that did raise a concern for me to see those injuries.
Does that give you concerns about what the children may be exposed to?
Yes.
Now, as far as stability, what's been going on with her housing and employment?
There's been instability there. She, in housing, just in the last several months, she's gone from breaking a lease on the house that she was in toward the outset of this case to go live in a 1-bedroom apartment, which she lived in for about a month and then broke the lease on that apartment. Then she lived with a friend that she would not identify or give me an address until much later after she had moved out. And then she said it was the mother of Tori Torres that she was living with. And apparently that ended not well. And then she lived for a short time at the Red Roof Inn, paying a weekly rate there. And then she obtained the current house that she is in, which is a 3-bedroom rental house. She did provide me a rental agreement, but I have concerns about the amount of the rent versus her income and whether she will be able to sustain that. So housing's been unstable. And then as far as employment, she worked for a dentist office that the terms of her employment was that she should get her dental assistant license within 3 months. She failed to do that, and so she was terminated after 90 days. And she did get another job at another dental office, which she currently holds and has held for the past few months. But again, I have concerns about the number of hours she's working and the amount of money that she's making and her ability to take care of her basic needs as well as the basic needs of the children if they were to be returned.
Now, did she mention at all staying in a shelter or anything at some point since the last hearing?
Oh yes, in the list of the places that she lived, I left out that at one point she said that she was staying at the shelter in Pampa, and that was for about a week. I was unable to confirm that, and then she said that she left there because it made her late to work in Amarillo. But my concern is the association with Vic Hathaway is really her only connection to Pampa, with her working at a job in Amarillo. So I was concerned that instead of staying at the shelter, she may be have been staying with him instead.
And so, since her self-admitted relapse, has she done anything as far as treatment?
She had no shows with Synacor. And so they required her to restart with them, the outpatient classes with Synacor that are in person now. She has not provided me any proof that she has restarted, but that's what she says, that she has restarted with Synacor.
Have you asked her, or do you have her attending any NA meetings or anything like that?
I asked her to keep an attendance log to prove that she's attending these NA meetings. She has not provided me with any of that.
And how are you currently making contact with Ms. Dominguez?
Up until this morning, it has been by email only for quite a while. She tends to lose phones, have phones stolen, or falling off a ride at the fair, or whatever, different reasons why she changes phones or changes phone numbers or both. So there's been a lot of that. And when that happens, then my only means of communicating with her is email. But today she did provide me a new phone number.
Okay. And can you get that to Miss Grant at some point after
I'll
this
do
hearing?
that today. Yes.
Now, do you believe the department has been making reasonable efforts to attempt to reunify the children with their parents?
Yes.
And this case went into extension in order to give Ms. Dominguez additional time to work through her substance abuse issues, correct?
Yes.
Or partially went into it for that purpose, correct?
Correct.
And so, what kind of concerns, if any, do you have as far as continuing danger with the fact that Ms. Dominguez has now relapsed? How many times has she relapsed since the extension?
This is at least, well, since the extension, I guess this would be the first and only relapse since the extension was granted.
I guess let me rephrase that. Did she relapse about the same time the extension was granted?
I would say yes.
Okay. And so what concerns do you have as far as a continuing danger with returning the children to her?
Well, there's a lot of instability. You know, she's not been able to show long-term sobriety. She's not been able to show long-term housing stability or employment stability. She's been dishonest with me a number of times about the state of her employment or the state of her sobriety. So it's just been difficult to see much progress more than just in certain bursts, like right before a hearing. You know, it's like cramming for a test sometimes is the example that I've given her, is that she needs to show something long term rather than just a short burst to try to accomplish something before a hearing. So I think her associations with people that are negative influences are a problem and would be a danger to the children. I believe that her financial situation seems precarious. It puts her in a situation where then she is leaning on the only people that she knows, the negative influences, to try to get her out of a financial jam. And then that creates problems as well.
Now, when you, what are, do you believe that the family plans of service that have been made for each of the parents would be reasonable efforts to reunify them with their parents?
Yes.
Now, as far as continuing danger with the fathers, what are some of the concerns the department has as far as risk of physical and emotional danger to the children if they were sent back to any of those individuals?
As far as Anthony Vallis is concerned, he's incarcerated, so the children cannot be placed with him for that reason. Vic Hathaway has been in and out of prison throughout this case. He's had multiple positive tests and just has not shown a protectiveness that would make it a safe option for the children, nor does he have a place of his own or employment to be able to provide for the basic needs of the children. And then Tory Torres, we haven't been able to assess his situation for housing, employment, or anything else to determine whether that would be a safe option for the children.
At this time, are you asking that all of the children's placements be continued?
Yes.
Are you asking that the department remain temporary managing conservator?
Yes.
And then are there any other requests as far as court orders today beyond parents not altering their hair? And that the judge set new, I guess, expectations of Ms. Dominguez prior to restarting visitation?
Nothing additional to that.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Judge.
All right, thank you. Mr. Coble, as always, thank you for being so thorough in your reports. It makes all of our jobs so much easier, and I want you to know I always appreciate that.
You're welcome, Judge.
I had one question just because I'm not really familiar with it about Rayleigh. I read in your report that you were seeking maybe to get a mentor from Amarillo's Angels. I'm really not. I don't know much. I've seen some commercials from them, but I don't really know much about them. So what did they do? If you could tell me.
What they do, Judge, is they will match up a child with a volunteer who will engage with that child to just sort of like the Big Brothers, Big Sisters, if you're familiar with that. So they'll, maybe once a month, take them on an outing, take them to breakfast or something that engages with them on a level that they would like to do. And actually, Rayleigh has been placed with a mentor after being on a waiting list. There's a woman named Anne that is a mentor that's assigned to her.
Okay, good. I thought it sounded something similar to Big Brothers, Big Sisters. So, and then as far as Stephen Jr.'s placement, you testified about the hiccup with the wife. If that's ironed out, he's actually placed with some of his siblings in that placement, correct?
No, sir. He is placed with. I mean, there are biological children that he's not related to.
Okay.
There's a 7-year-old, I believe, that is in the home, a 7-year-old female child, so same age as Stephen and a good playmate for him. And then I believe there's a couple of teenagers in the home.
So, but if they would be willing to adopt if that became an issue or a possibility?
Yes, they have been working toward that, Judge.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you. Ms. Grant, questions?
No questions, Your Honor. I'll wait for that information from Mr. Coville, and I also appreciate his thoroughness.
Yes. Mr. Barfield?
No, I'm just gonna make contact with my client and tell him what he needs to be doing. Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Koval. I agree 1000% with what Judge Graham said.
Thank you.
All right, then, Ms. Lucero.
I don't have any questions, Your Honor. If I would just ask Mr. Koval if another name were to show up besides the Stephen Carver Sr., if he could get that information to me, I'd appreciate it.
Okay. Mr. Michelson, did you have any questions? You're muted. Well, okay, while we're waiting for Mr. Michelson to unmute, Mr. Nowak, did you have questions?
A comment and maybe one question. Tim, as always, your monthly updates are incredible, and you do a great service to the people you serve, and thank you so much for that. I talked to placement in Lubbock on the two younger kids, and it sounds like that those kids are being picked up in Lubbock at 3:30 for visits in Amarillo one Friday a month. And thanks, Tim. And the issue with Lubbock placement right now is the kids are getting home around 9:30, 9:45 at night. The kids are young, obviously. Is there any way we could dial that back a couple hours on those Friday visits? To where the kids would get home at Lubbock around 7:30, 8:30 as opposed to 9:30.
Well, Mr. Nowak, it's been a challenge to try to figure out how to make these sibling visits work for everybody.
Gotcha.
And I do understand the concern that the foster placement has with the children getting back to Lubbock so late. We have Stephen who's in Pampa. So often I'm transporting him from Pampa to Amarillo. We have Rayleigh who's in Amarillo. The earliest that Stephen can be brought over is when he gets out of school by, say, 4:30. So 5:30 is about the only time or the earliest time that Stephen can get there for the visit. So if we picked up the boys from Lubbock earlier, then they would get there before him, and then he would miss out on that time. And the point is to try to get all these four children together at the same time so that they can enjoy time with one another. And the thing is that these kids, we've moved their visits to Fridays. That way, even if it's a late arrival getting back home, at least they don't have school or daycare the next day. It still throws the youngest boys their schedules off on the weekend, and I fully understand that. But with it being just once a month, we just really have not been able to come up with another alternative to the way that we're doing it. So it is 5:30 to 7:30 right now, and that does put those boys getting back to Lubbock by 9:30. And that's been the best that we've been able to come up with, although we're certainly open to any other suggestions, but it has to work and make sense for everybody. Like I said, there's a lot of moving parts.
And Tim, I sure do appreciate the challenge you're facing, but more importantly, so does Lubbock. And when I talked to them about this issue, they said there might not be anything we can do given the three different placements and the different time schedules. But I did promise them I'd bring it up with you. And thank you so much for visiting with me about that. Judge, that's all I have.
All right, thank you. I just noticed Ms. Dominguez has just now popped in the waiting room, so we'll bring her in before we conclude the hearing.
Thank you, Judge. We had sent her an email.
Okay. All right, she is now with us, so let's see. Did we have any other witnesses from anybody?
No, Your
sir.
Honor. For the court's, just for the court's information, though, Judge, we have rescheduled mediation in this case. It currently set for November 19th.
Okay. Good. All right, then. Mr. Nowak, recommendations?
Kids are all doing well in placement, Judge. Maintain placement, maintain the current conservatorship. And once again, a huge thanks to Tim. Man, the information you give is invaluable. Thank you so much, Judge. Those are my recommendations.
All right, thank you. All right, in both cases, ruling will be the same. Department will be continued temporary managing conservator. All the children's current placements will be continued. I'll order all the parents or alleged parents in this case not to die or otherwise alter their hair throughout the remainder of this case. And I will order that orders that I previously made concerning Ms. Dominguez's suspended visitation will be continued in this current order. Okay, I will set the final in both of these cases for January 5th, 2020. I'm sorry, Mr. Michelson, we didn't get to you, but you were muted. Did you have any questions of Mr. Coble? Because I didn't get a chance to ask you.
That's all right. Just briefly, I'm happy to join into the group hug. So you do a great job. And I appreciate you sending me the contact information on Anthony. And I believe Ms. Wildman asked all the questions that I would have asked.
Okay, thank you. All right, then. As I said, finals in both cases will be set for January 5th, 2026. That will be by Zoom like today's hearing. Parties can either talk to their lawyers or anyone can go on the court's online docket a day or two before January 5th to see exactly what time of day we'll have that hearing. So maybe you don't have to sit around in a waiting room too long. So, all right, we will be in recess on this case. For those of you involved, I will be back at 1:15 to call our final Randall County case. That is a permanency hearing on the Oliveras child. So we will be in recess. Everybody have a good week.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank y'all. I will call Randall County case number 86005. This is a permanency hearing involving the Oliveras child. Ms. Wildman is with us for the department. Ms. Wiggins is with us representing the child. Mr. Barfield is with us representing the mother, Ms. Arona, who is also with us. Mr. Michelson is with us as guardian ad litem for the father, Victor Oliveras, who's with us. Mr. Saint represents Mr. Oliveras as his attorney ad litem. He is not with us and not in the waiting room. We'll go ahead and get started and I'll watch for him. I do have Sylvia Garcia in the waiting room.
And that's my worker, Judge.
Okay, everyone is with us. No one's in the waiting room. Ms. Wildman, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. The department would call Sylvia Garcia.
Okay. Ms. Garcia, if you'd raise your right hand, please. You swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do.
All right, thank you. Ms. Wildman?
Thank you, Judge. And Ms. Garcia, how are you currently employed?
With St. Francis Ministries.
And are you the permanency specialist assigned to this particular case with Eden and his family?
Yes, I am.
And how long have you been assigned to this case?
I have been on this case since February 28th.
And so is it fair to say you've had the opportunity to work with the parents and are familiar with the case?
Yes.
All right, and so let's get an update on Eden. Eden is currently placed with one of his aunts, correct?
That's correct.
And previously, had he been in a different kinship placement?
Yes, he had.
All right, and so as far as placement, have those two, the previous placement and the current placement, are they still having respite care and having him at different times?
Yes, they are.
And so what sort of, I guess, schedule are they currently on?
It's basically said as bi-weekly. There is some instance where grandparents would not be able to bring him, but that's just something that they communicate with placement. And once they've made arrangements that fits their schedule, they let me know if I am okay with their plans that they have for him to go on a weekend with them.
Okay, so is that going pretty good and the families are working that out fairly well?
Yes, it's actually going very well.
All right, and so how's Eden been doing since school started back up?
He's been doing good. He's actually doing very good in school. He has struggled a little bit with math and reading, but that's just a little bit about from him being a little bit behind. And then also they haven't yet done the testing for the IEP. So he is, struggling a bit, but so far his aunt has stepped in and she's made sure that, he gets the help that he needs at home. With them, and then she's also already pushing for the testing so that we can make sure that it gets done as soon as possible.
All right, and so what grade is he in now?
He's in 3rd grade.
All right, and so as far as the ADHD diagnosis, has he still not been getting? Has he still not been getting any kind of services for that for school, or is he getting services for that through the school? Or accommodations, I guess, may be the better way to phrase that.
So he hasn't yet. That's what the IEP meeting is for. They have to first do their testing, and then after they basically cross out all of the diagnostic testing on him, then they would move forward with just the plan to basically tailor to the ADHD that he needs help with.
Gotcha. And has
Let me interrupt you for just a second. And Mr. Saint's in the waiting room. Let me get him in.
Oh, perfect.
All right, for the record, Mr. Saint has now joined us along as the attorney ad litem for Mr. Oliveris, who's with us. Go ahead, Mr. Tubman, you may continue.
Thank you, Judge. Is he currently taking psychotropic medication for the ADHD diagnosis?
Yes, he is.
And has that appeared to help?
Yes, it has.
And is he having that reviewed regularly as required?
Yes, he does.
Or is the aunt able to get him to the appointments for that to be reviewed?
Yes, she does.
Perfect. All right. And so, as far as Eden is concerned, are the aunt, or I guess his current placement still having some sort of kind of behavioral concerns at home?
Yes, a lot of it has to do with just with him following the rules and kind of having to be redirected more than once, and him basically noticing that the discipline between, his cousins and himself is different. So he likes to kind of play devil's advocate and push his limits. So, but other than that, I mean, he does well with them.
And when you say the discipline is different, is that because of the DFPS restrictions on certain types of discipline?
Yes.
Okay. And so, is that part of the reason why he's doing those weekends with the grandparents to give everybody a break?
Yes, it is.
Okay. But overall, does he seem to be doing well in placement?
Yes, he does.
And are there any other updates we need on Eden at this time?
Not at this time.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the parents and the progress they're making. Is it true that Mr. Oliveris has been released from custody?
Yes, it is.
All right, and so have you had the opportunity to meet with him since he was released from custody and talk to him about his services?
Yes, I've met with him and we have regular communication now that he is out.
All right, and so what sort of progress is he making on his services?
So he has started his parenting classes and he has completed 5 out of the 6 parenting classes that is required. He is also doing individual therapy at the VA, and he's also doing a drug and alcohol education course there at the VA. And all of that should be completed within the first 45 days that he is there with them.
All right. As far as housing and income, what sort of, and I guess transportation, what's going on there?
So for housing, he's currently being housed at the VA. So he's in a program with the VA, basically to get him back stabled, because he has kind of been in and out of jail for the past couple of months. So he did kind of lose on some benefits, and he lost his house that he had previously that he was renting out. So basically, the program that he is in currently with the VA is basically just to help him get stable back within the community. And so he has to first complete his 45 days, and then they'll transition him into a different program. But all of it allows him to continue receiving his VA benefits because he's 100% disabled, and then also to get him back to having some stability as far as housing goes.
Okay. And the program that he's in, is that going to be addressing both of the mental health concerns that have been raised as part of this case, as well as the substance abuse issues?
Yes, basically they have the program there that just goes over the importance of him taking his medication, and then just, educating him on all of those things, just as a refresher for him.
Okay, perfect. And so, I think in your court report it said he was going to start with Jennings and Associate, but does the VA program and the services he's doing there, is that going to be good for St. Francis as far as checking the boxes on those parts of the service plan?
Yes, it will.
Okay, great. And so as far as visitation right now, is it fair to say that visitation had been suspended by court order?
Yes, it had.
And is the department wanting to restart that?
We are.
And what, I guess, now you're aware that the court, because Mr. Oliveris hadn't been involved in the case, had ordered for a paternity test, I think at the last hearing, right?
Correct.
Now, as far as paternity, what has Mr. Oliveris and Miss Arona told you as far as that's concerned?
They have stated that Mr. Oliveris is the father, both Ms. Orona and Mr. Oliveras have both stated that.
And I guess from the department's perspective, or from St. Francis' perspective, are we wanting to go ahead and restart that visitation if we can, even if that paternity testing is still pending?
We would like to wait until the paternity test comes back. Just, because I know that Mr. Oliveira said that he would like to just, make sure that we get the paternity test done, so that it's on record.
Are there any other barriers to restarting that visitation as far as St. Francis is concerned?
There is. We also want him to provide a UA that is negative, so that way we can make sure that Eden is safe.
Perfect. So if those two conditions are met, are you asking that the court allow visitation to resume?
Yes, we are.
And otherwise, has he been complying with the department, and are we seeing, I guess, positive progress as far now that he's been released?
He is complying with the department, and yes, we have seen positive progress since he has been released.
All right. At this point, is it possible, or what sort of concerns does the department have with sending, or with Eden moving back in with dad or placing back with dad? What are our continuing danger concerns?
The continuing danger concern is that we would like for him to finish the program that he is with the VA, since that does tailor to his medications. It tailors to him having stability, and those are things that he will need so that Eden and him could be successful if ever unification was to take place.
All right. At this point, does he have a home that Eden could return to?
He currently does not, because the program that he is in does not allow for his son to be there at the VA.
Okay. Do you believe the department is making reasonable efforts to reunify him with Eden?
Yes, I do.
And do you believe that the service plan and the program that he's in are going to be positive steps towards that reunification?
Yes, I do.
All right. And so let's talk about Miss Orona and the progress that she's been making. At this point, what services, if any, does she still need to complete?
She is needing just to complete the Padre program, which was the recommendation from the OSAR.
Okay. And as far as drug screening, has she been drug screening consistently?
Yes, she has.
When the last drug screening date in your court report was September 29th. Was that the last screen that you've done?
We did one in October.
Okay. Have those results come back yet?
Yes, they have.
All right. And are there any new concerns with those results?
No, there is not any new concerns with those results.
All right. And so have those all been UAs, or has she done a hair follicle at all since the last one in February?
She's done a hair follicle in October.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. And has that result also come back?
Yes, it has.
All right, great. And so same thing, no concerns?
No concerns.
All right, so tell me a little bit about what's been going on with the housing situation.
So Miss Orona is currently living with one of her other sisters, and in the before, she was not letting us do a background check. Her sister was not, but recently, as of October 31st, she did allow me to do a background check on her, and so were able to move forward with more flexibility as far as doing longer visitation, and then also talking about possibly reunifying Miss Orona soon.
Perfect. Now, what kind of house, or I guess what kind of living situation does Miss Orona and her sister currently have?
Currently, they're living in a 2-bedroom apartment, and her sister also has a child of her own, and Miss Orona has a younger child too that is half sibling to Eden Oliveras. And so the 2-bedroom apartment is big enough for them for right now. We would like for Eden to have a little bit more space, but there is space in that apartment for a full-size bed or even a twin-size bed for Eden.
Now, what's the plan? I guess what's Miss Orona and her sister's plan as far as that apartment?
So the lease is up in December of 2025, and they are wanting to be moved out at the beginning of the year to at least a 3-bedroom that would give them more space, so that there would be more space for the kids and they wouldn't have any issues as far as the kids being in each other's space.
Okay. And so, what sort of progress has been made towards Miss Arona and employment?
So she's part-time working and she did provide employment verification of that. And then she recently started working at Stars. And so that is also full-time employment there.
Okay, good. So prior, and when did she turn over those pay stubs?
She turned those over. I actually don't have the date in front of me, but I can provide that in a future date.
That's all right. I mean, was it recently that she turned those over?
Yes, it was recently.
Okay, and so, is it fair to say that Miss Arona, just in the last month or so, is starting to show more stability as far as income, employment, and housing?
Yes.
Now, previously, with her sister refusing to do the background check, was that a concern for the department?
It was a concern.
Did it turn out that there were any concerns that came up out of that after she agreed to do it?
No, there was no concerns.
All right, and so, as of right now, does the department still have some concerns about seeing some long-term stability and her keeping her job and moving into that new place?
Yes, there is. Just because the employment is fairly new, the full-time employment that she just got is fairly new. So we would like to see her have a little bit more consistency as far as that goes, and then also being able to navigate pickup and drop-offs for the boys, because she's going to need it. One of them is going to daycare and the other one will be going full-time to school.
And so what sort of increase in visitation have we recently approved?
It's approved for 6 hours supervised, and that could be supervised by placement or with her older sister, Alicia.
And is that the one she's living with currently?
Yes.
All right. And if things go well and if the apartment that they move into at the beginning of the year is appropriate, are we looking at hopefully starting to reunify?
Yes, those are our plans.
Okay, so at this point, do you still believe that there's a continuing danger as far as placing him back in the home right now?
Yes, we do.
Do you, at this point, I guess from what I'm hearing, believe that hopefully everything would be good to start reunifying prior to our final hearing in January or February?
Yes.
All right, and visitation is going good?
Yes, visitation is going good.
All right, and so do you think increasing visitation is going to give Miss Arona more time to work on those parenting skills and show that she's able to have Eden home and work through his behaviors?
Yes, we do.
Perfect. Do you need to ask for any other services or anything for either of the parents?
No.
Are you asking that placement be continued and that the department remain temporary managing conservator?
Yes, I am.
All right. Anything else that the court needs to be made aware of or updated on?
No.
All right. I'll pass the witness, Judge.
All right, thank you. Ms. Garcia, can you think of any reason we couldn't go ahead and start some unsupervised visits for Ms. Arona at this time?
No, Judge.
Okay. All right. All right, Mr. Barfield, questions?
You stole my thunder, Judge. That's what I was going to request.
Okay. All right, then, Mr. Saint, do you have any questions as far as for Mr. Oliveris being his attorney ad litem?
Yes, Judge, briefly, and my apologies for being late, Judge. I don't know why 1:30 was stuck in my mind, but
That's okay. We barely started.
Ms. Garcia, Mr. Oliveris is greatly improved since the start of the case. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And the biggest issue was his mental health,
Yes,
and that seems to be stable now.
it does.
Okay, you don't have any concerns that he's not taking his medicine or anything like that, correct?
Correct.
So it's pretty obvious when he's not taking his medicine, isn't it?
Yes, and then he's also getting drug screened regularly at the VA. So they just make sure that he's, not self-medicating or anything. So yes.
And so, as I understand it, the only thing preventing supervised visits is you want to see a negative UA. Do you not have access to the drug screens from the VA?
I currently do not have access to them. And if I am correct, we cannot submit them in our court to show the negative UA.
Okay, but just for your benefits, if you could, but it doesn't matter if you can't get them. But a UA shouldn't take long to get, correct?
Correct.
And the other thing is the paternity test. Did Mr. Oliveras have a relationship with this child before the CPS case?
Yes, he did.
Okay. But you think it would be harmful to go ahead and start the visits now before the paternity testing?
I don't think it would be harmful. I just know that Mr. Oliveras stated that he would like for it to be on record. So it wouldn't, it would benefit the both of them to have visitation, possibly before the paternity test came back if we had a negative UA.
Okay. But to be clear, Mr. Oliveras does believe that he is the father.
Yes, he does.
Okay. He just wants it on record so that nobody can doubt it.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. I'll pass the witness.
All right. Well, and I don't, maybe Mr. Saint and Mr. Michelson need to talk to Mr. Oliveras. If he has some question, I don't believe it's time to start visitation. So if y'all want a breakout room here in a minute, I'll give it to you. But typically when we're doing paternity testing, we don't start visitation until we get it back. That could be very confusing to a child. So anyway, all right. Mr. Michelson, do you have questions?
Just briefly, Your Honor. Ms. Garcia, is he housed at the Thomas E. Creek facility or a different VA?
I'm not sure what the VA is called. It's the one that's located here in Amarillo.
That's Thomas E. Creek. Do you know the formal name of the program he's involved in?
It's called SUD.
Could you phonetically spell that, because it doesn't translate it very well?
It's SUD.
Okay. Thank you. And do you know his caseworker by chance?
I have not spoke to her myself, but Mr. Oliveras did provide a phone number and a name that of a person that I could reach out to.
Okay, would you forward me that information, please?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Wiggins.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Garcia, did Eden start his medication in June or around June? Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Have they increased it or changed it since he's been started on that medication?
Yes, it has.
Okay. Because I know when I met with him, he was still a little, excitable. Do you believe that the increase or modifications are helping?
Yes, I do. I think that he definitely needs the modification that was done recently on the medication, just because it helps him stay focused throughout the day.
Okay. And that was one of the issues when he got to his grandparents' house, that he was just having issues focusing and having some structure. Is that fair to say?
That is fair to say.
Did he have a lapse in schooling before he came into care? Was he homeschooled or?
Yes, he was being homeschooled. So that's kind of why he is struggling, even with the ADHD. It's just because he was already kind of behind due to the homeschooling. And so trying to get back into our traditional academic setting was a little bit difficult for him. And so they did say from the beginning that he was a little bit behind, but not too much where he couldn't get caught up.
Okay. And is mom willing to keep him in the formal structure of the school, especially if he gets those modifications or exceptions to help him at school?
Yes, she is.
Okay. All right. I'll pass the witness, Judge.
All right. Anyone else have further questions for Ms. Garcia?
Just one briefly, Judge.
I did too, I'm sorry.
No, you're right.
When, Ms. Garcia, I apologize. When did Mr. Oliveras formally go into the VA program? How long has he been in there?
He's been there since October. I would not have an official date until I spoke to Miss Young, which is the caseworker there at the VA.
Okay, so I mean October, so a month, basically.
Probably. I think he went like mid-October.
Okay, thank you.
And I just had a brief follow-up based on Miss Wiggins' question. Miss Garcia, do you know when that IEP meeting has been scheduled for?
I do not know yet. I would have to wait until I speak to placement here in the next couple of weeks so I could get an official date on it. But I can also reach out to the school and just make sure that we're on a path for an IEP diagnostic.
And the only reason I was asking is because if we're looking at reunification happening soon, is that, and Miss Wiggins was concerned about Miss Arona maintaining those expectations with the school, is that something that Miss Arona would also be able to attend?
Yes, yes, she would actually like to attend.
Okay, that's the only question I had, Judge.
All right. If no one has further questions for Ms. Garcia, Ms. Rodman, do you have any other witnesses?
I do not, Judge.
All right. Mr. Barfield, any witnesses?
I do not have any witnesses, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Singh.
Yes, sir. I'd like to call my client, Mr. Olivares, briefly.
Okay. Sir, if you'd unmute.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. If you'd raise your right hand, please. You swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. Go ahead.
Hi, Victor. Just wanted to ask you about paternity. Do you have any doubts that you're the father?
I don't. I just wanted to have the reassurance.
Okay. So you would prefer to have paternity testing just to have it absolutely 100%?
Correct.
Okay. So that nobody could doubt it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. I'll pass the witness.
All right. Anyone else have questions for Mr. Olivares?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Mr. Singh, any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Michelson, any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Wiggins, witnesses.
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Wiggins, recommendations then.
Thank you, Judge. I'd excuse me, I apologize. I would, gosh, the department to remain temporary managing conservator. I apologize, Judge. I have a bad sinus infection. And that the child's placement to be continued. He's doing really well there, and I mean, absent his ADHD. I know that's been hard for him to get some structure. Super sweet kid. Just a little, asks a lot of questions. Well, inquisitive, which is a good thing. And so I do believe increasing visits with mom is a good thing. I think hopefully that'll go well, and on his medication as well. And I am happy to hear about the school, getting him on some, hopefully, accommodations for that. So that's all I have, Judge.
Great, thank you. All right, then based on what I've heard, then I will continue the department's temporary managing conservator. I'll continue Eden's current placement. I'll order that Miss Arona's visitation will be increased. I'm not going to say how much because I don't know what the time constraints are, but I'll also order that her visitation from now on be unsupervised. I will order that Mr. Olivares may begin supervised visitation, but once we have number one, have a paternity test showing he is the biological father, and number two, he provides a negative UA to St. Francis or the department. Okay, I will set our final hearing in this case for January 12th, 2026. That will be by Zoom, just like today's hearing. So parties can either talk to their lawyers a little in advance, or anyone can go on the court's online docket a day or two before January 12th to see exactly what time of day we'll have that hearing. That way you won't be sitting around in a waiting room waiting for us to get started. So, all right, this was our last hearing for the day, so we will stand in recess. Everybody have a good week.
Thank you, Your Honor.